Hello, everyone. My name is Shane Kipper. This is day 2 back on the Know Your Worth podcast. Super excited to be here for you, here with you guys. I have a special episode for you guys today. This is some things that I'm going through now, so I can shine some perspective. So I hope this is helpful. The Know Your Worth podcast, and just to kind of give you an idea of what we're trying to do here, is I'm very passionate about self-love. Self-love, I've been on this journey for probably 5, going on 6 years now, of really trying to find myself. And I didn't know that was what I was doing when I started, but it ended up that way. And it was something that I really needed, and I really believe that we go through these things. We ask for a different reality, and over the course of time and action and follow through and focus and all these things, we start to manifest. And it doesn't have to take a long time. It doesn't have to take a short period of time. No time at all. But it's the practices and everything that we're going to be talking about in this channel, or in this podcast and these episodes. And, we're going to be talking about finance. We're going to be talking about health. We're going to be talking about relationships and spirituality and purpose. And, the best thing about this is with podcasts, and, if you are a podcast episode watcher, you understand that people bring people on. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring experts on to this show. I've got a really cool interview coming up, actually a couple. So stay tuned for those. But today, what we're going to be talking about is the 3 steps for overcoming challenges or change, or whatever you want to call it. So that's basically the topic. And what we're going to be looking at is how challenges are actually shaping who we become. And challenges are basically what we've asked for. We maybe not necessarily the challenge itself, but the challenge is what allows us to get to the thing that we actually wanted. So we'll dive into that here in just a second. But before I get started, go to the Know Your Worth podcast on Facebook. That's all I have right now. I don't have a website. I'm getting ready to build that. So stay tuned for that. But for now, go join the Know Your Worth Facebook group. In there, we're going to be posting lots of different inspiration, also just tactical information and PDF guides and all these different things that you can use as resources to get to that place where you really feel like you've got that love for yourself. And we'll elaborate, and we'll go deep, and it's going to get woo-woo, and it's going to get there's going to be some things said that you may not understand, and you may not be able to comprehend yet. I'm going to try to do my best to, keep this information, very as understandable as possible, because I understand it, but to, translate that into words is another story. So I'll do my best for you guys. So number 1 is the first point I want to make is that challenges are a sign of life. Tony Robbins says this: challenges are a sign of life. Without challenges, there would be no growth. Without challenges, there would be no purpose for, having a goal, period. Because at the end of the day, if we set a goal and instantly it manifests, there's nothing in between. It just, blop, brand new Porsche 911 GT2. That's what I want. Just pops up in my garage overnight. Then it's like, okay, well, I didn't have to go do anything. I didn't have to go help anybody. I just, suddenly the keys popped up in my pocket, and I just go out and drive it. And then it gets old in a week. It's like, I didn't work for this. And not like work hard. And we'll get into that. I got a whole series, or a whole episode for that. But I digress. Is if we didn't have those challenges, there would be no reason to have a purpose, a greater purpose, or a goal. Because it would be like, if you did want to change people's lives, if that goal was already met, there would be no purpose for you. So the challenges are the growth. So, and for example, I have a digital marketing company. I do sales funnels and Facebook advertising. And basically, for the majority of my career in my business, I never really got a lot of results. There's always been challenges, and I've learned new things about my business and stuff like that. And and like I said, those challenges that are the lessons learned, and it has brought me to today. But up until about 6 to 8 months ago, maybe 9, 10, I didn't really have a grasp on things, and I was really just struggling to get by. And that was my challenge, was finances. Finances has really always been a challenge for me, and I see it as a challenge and not a problem, or something that's holding me back, because I'm still pushing. I'm still trying to figure it out. And I'm still trying to learn and learn and learn and grow and grow and grow. Um, but up until about 10 months ago, I wasn't really having any progress in my business. And then I met a guy that actually invited me out to speak on sales funnels. His name is Nick Trevelyan, really great friend of mine now. Invited me here to San Diego. I used to live in Boise, Idaho. And I flew out here to give this presentation. First presentation I'd ever done on sales funnels. Freaking made it up a couple days before the training. And I'll admit, I used information from the information I was gathering to do my business. It wasn't just like, yeah, I comprehend this. I comprehended it, but I just, I just like, for the most part, kind of just had to use my resources. Long story short, I show up in San Diego, give the presentation, and I stayed. I canceled my flight home, and left all my stuff at home, sold everything back home, and found a place here. I had a night that I was homeless. I got kicked out of someone's house because of someone's boyfriend, and there was just all these things that were happening, but they were all challenges, right? So, that night that I was homeless, and I say homeless, like I just didn't have a home. It was a very humbling experience, right? But the challenge I faced was I didn't have any money. I didn't have a charged phone. I just had a backpack and a suitcase and nowhere to stay. So I couldn't even go get a hotel, so I slept outside, and then I took the train, and I feel like I'm elaborating more than I should, but the challenges I faced in those moments of moving here, the challenge was like, especially moving here, was like, um, it was way out of my comfort zone. I was like, no way am I moving to San Diego. But then there was also that side of me that was like, yes way, we're doing this. We're freaking going all in. And, I took on the challenge. I took on that challenge, and there was bumps. Like I said, I was homeless and stuff like that. The challenges along the way built me to the place that I'm at now. And it's crazy because things become synchronistic, especially when you take on challenges, when you face the challenge head on. I believe in the universe, but I believe everything else is the same thing. We're all talking about the same thing. So, I'll get that point across to you now. So that way, moving forward, you understand that if I'm talking about the universe or God or whatever, it's all the same thing. But you face that challenge, you say yes to that challenge and say, yes, I can do this. And, the things start happening, things start falling into place for you. Things are like, the universe is like, great job. Here's a gift. Maybe it's someone calling you saying, hey, here's a place to stay, because that's exactly what happened to me. I got 3 days, or it was actually a couple weeks. Stayed there for a couple weeks, went and got a hotel, and finally found the place that I'm in now. Had that not happened, I probably would have gone home and went back to my old routine of just barely getting by. And I knew that when I made the decision to stay, is like, it's one or the other. So might as well face it's the decision to choose one challenge over the other, because there's challenges either way. So it's your decision on which challenge you choose. Is it the challenge to grow, or is it the challenge to stay still? Because at the end of the day, there is no stagnancy, and I'll get into that here in just a second. I think that's like my second point. But basically, the first point is challenges are a sign of life. So by you going through challenges, you're living. Life is all about the challenges. And I think, challenges may have a derogatory name or interpretation sometimes, but you really got to change that. And like I said, I think the biggest takeaway from both of this first point is that you have two choices, two challenges to accept, one or the other. Actually, you don't get to choose both, right? You can't go in two directions at the same time. So you choose one challenge of growth, or a challenge of, barely getting by. It's the challenge of barely making enough, or the challenge of having new things to discover and learn in order to make more money, if that is your goal, right? And the same could go for relationships and spirituality and purpose and all these things. And so it's a choice. Okay, point number two is look at it as what you asked for. When you set a goal, the universe, God, whatever, literally takes what you ask for and says yes, it is yours. It gives it to you. It doesn't manifest right away. Ask and it's given. Abraham Hicks, one of my greatest mentors. I say mentor, she's an online YouTube mentor to me. But Abraham Hicks talks about how when you ask the universe, it is given to you immediately. So it's not like manifested, like I said, but it is in the ether. It is in this reality somewhere. If you want $1 million, you can go get it. There's trillions of dollars. If you want the perfect relationship, it's out there. Go get it. If you want the perfect body, you can have it. You just got to go get the right foods and take the right actions. So as soon as you ask, it is given. But then the next step is, going through and facing those challenges to get to that thing that you want. It doesn't mean that the challenges are going to be hard or it's going to suck, or and it can, right? But what that means is, you asked for it. So are you willing to put yourself through what it takes to get that thing? Because if it is a relationship that you want, you have to become that person. If, like, you have this image in your mind of this beautiful woman or this beautiful man or whatever, beautiful frog, whatever it is, you have to embody those things that you say you want in that person, whether that's love and trust and accountability and support and whatever that is, motivation, encouragement. You got to have those aspects in yourself in order to find that person. So those are the challenges, right? So when we're setting a goal, we're literally setting the challenges for ourselves, right? So I want to make $1 million this year. So what are the challenges that I'm going to face along that? There is so much I have to learn. I have been running my business incorrectly for such a long time that I've neglected my finances. I've neglected creating processes and stuff like that. And so now I have this great big client. We're about to do $1 million in the next 2 months. We did 300,000 last month. And this isn't typical for me. I've never experienced this, so I'm not like bragging. I'm just saying, like, a lot can change. But the challenges have been immense, and it's all really good, because the things that I've learned and accomplished and fixed, and these systems that I put into place, and the things I've learned that I didn't know about my own business. I was running a business and I hardly knew what I was doing, and now with since I set the goal and I created the challenges for myself, I am taking on those challenges, learning new things. And now I can take everything I'm learning and do it for myself to make myself the $1 million. Had I not had that information until now, I'd be in the same place I was. Not the same place, but I would be just kind of scraping, not knowing what to do in my own business, basically running other people's marketing the wrong way. And that's totally honest, you know what I'm saying? And I'm having these realizations, and that's why I wanted to just share this topic, because it's going on in my life right now. So look at it as what you asked for. You set the goal. You knew that there was going to be some challenges. You didn't think, hey, I want a new Lamborghini, and it's just going to show up tomorrow. Someone's going to bring it on a truck and polish the wheels once it comes out. You know what I'm saying? So it's what you ask for. So be careful what you ask for, because you will get it. And that is a big point I want to elaborate on too real quick before I move on to the next point is, when you ask, it is given. And that is both in both directions again. Okay. You either ask for what you want or you ask for what you don't want. Either way, you're giving focus to one or the other. And by your focus, energy is attracted. Where your energy goes, energy flows, right? You've heard that saying before. So by your focus, you're attracting one or the other, by focusing on what you don't have or by focusing on what you do have. Okay. So when you focus on what you don't have, the lack of money, the lack of your significant other or your partner, or the lack of maybe it's habits, or the lack of whatever it is, you're giving energy to that thing. And so the universe or God or whatever is listening and is saying, okay, if that's what you want, I'll give it to you. It doesn't know the difference between I don't want this and I want this. It's what you're focused on, what you're giving energy to. You know, as soon as you turn, you can't give energy to the negative. You can't give energy to the things that you don't want when you're focused on the things that you do want. So give your energy to that. You know, understand that when you set the goal, you're going to encounter some challenges and things to overcome and learn and grow. Same thing on the other side, but you know, it's quite a different road. I'm sure you can understand that, and I'm sure any one of us has been through this same exact thing. And if you look at your life, and there's a lot of things that you don't want, how are you thinking about those things? So this is a great example for me. I went back home to Boise, and I'm going to actually, it was about to come out of my mouth as an excuse, but I went back to home to Boise, and I'm an emotional eater. And, so I feel like I've just kind of been in kind of this funk for the last couple months. And so I was gaining a lot of weight, and then I would look in the mirror and I would focus on the belly fat. And it wasn't like I was like, oh, fuck that, fuck the weight or whatever. It was like, I just wasn't happy with myself. I wasn't happy with my results, but I wasn't doing anything about it. But that is because that was where my focus is. If you're focused on the negative, on your belly fat, you're not going to do anything about it. But if you're focused on what I can do, what I want to be like, obviously you need to know where you're at. But it's not about punishing yourself. It's not about like beating yourself up or saying you're fat, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're not smart enough, you're not doing this good enough, you're not working hard enough. It's not about that, right? It's about focusing on like, what do you want? And then heading there. Like, as long as you're focused on that, as long as you're headed in that direction, you got the target and you're focused on it, you don't have to worry about what happens in between, because it's never going to be the same as what you imagine. Like the dream partner, it's never what you imagine. Maybe a little bit, certain aspects, right? And obviously when we set the goal, we want those things, and so we attract it, but it's not going to be the exact freaking person you imagine, and it's not going to be in the exact freaking place you imagine. But so along the way, you're gonna date other people, you're gonna probably, there's possibility of heartache, cheating, whatever. But in that process, you're actually learning lessons of what you do and don't want. So, that's kind of the way of your focus. And so, when you ask, it is given. So pay attention to what you're focusing on, what you're giving energy to. Don't focus on the lack of what you don't have, but focus on the things that, one, are good, what is good right now, because there's so much good right now. You literally have everything you need. Listening to this podcast, watching, whatever you're doing, you literally, in this moment, without all the other fucking shit, have everything you need in your life. Right now, I got my mic, I got my computer, I got some freaking water. It's freaking hot, it's sunny. I got air to breathe. I got a bathroom. I got a new bed. Like, I got everything I need right here. So focus on that, number one. And then, give that energy to the thing that you actually want. Like, okay, I want this woman. Who do I have to become? I want this man. who do I have to become? I have to, work out myself because I want someone who's fit. I have to, you know, study constantly. Well, just that's not mandatory, but I'm just trying to grow. So I'm always studying. So, and all these things, these aspects. So I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with this, but I hope it was valuable. So number 3 is everything is always working out for you. Again, going back to Abraham Hicks, number 1 mentor. You should look her up. She basically, what she does is she taps into the infinite source, which is named Abraham. Her name is actually Esther Hicks, and she is able to tune into basically a frequency of information. And basically Abraham speaks through her and is basically like gives all this information, and it's very helpful. It's changed my freaking life. But everything is always working out for you. And I kind of touched on this on the last point of what you ask for, it is given. So everything is always working out for you. So if you want a beautiful woman or a beautiful man, whatever it is that you want, if it's $1 million, if it's a dream body, whatever it is, and like for example, in my business, I've wanted to make $1 million now for 5 years. Like, that's been a fucking goal of mine. And if you don't like my language, I don't care, because this is just how I talk, and I hope you just enjoy the information. So I just had to make that point. But I've wanted to make $1 million now for 5 years in my business. Still haven't done it. But that's okay. And what has happened, and I realize this now, and I can see this, and look at your own life. As I'm talking about this, how is this similar in your own life? You're headed down a path. You start a business, okay? It starts as one thing, and then it transforms, and it totally changes, and then it changes a little bit, and then all these things change, and then the person that you're in partnership with leaves, and then it's just you, and then you get another partner and another partner, and then all these things change, and then all of a sudden, by the time you get here now, it's completely different than what you thought it would be by the time when you started. And so, same thing with the relationships. I touched on this. Like I said, cheating. If someone were to cheat on you, you literally now have the information of what the things are that you don't want, unless that's what you want, which I highly doubt, really highly doubt. You're going to start looking for, you're more aware. The challenges are awareness. And I like that. I'm gonna quote that on my Instagram. By the way, go follow me on Instagram, Shane Kipper, Facebook, whatever. But everything is always working out for you. By someone cheating on you, you understand now that that's not what you want in your life. By someone, and this is extreme, a father figure leaving in your life. This happens a lot. You understand that you don't want somebody as a partner that will do that to your child. So it's awareness. So everything is always working out. When one thing doesn't work out, another, it's bringing you to the thing that you do want. It's like this. It's like, a straight line. If you're into sales, like sales training, Jordan Belfort, or maybe even the Wolf of Wall Street movie. He talks about the straight line persuasion. And I see life as the same. It really is a straight line. You got the beginning and you got the end. Well, beginning and end is just when you set the goal and when you achieve it. Okay, there's a straight line that you can literally follow. You can go directly to it, straight up. But a lot of the times, when we focus on the lack, I wish I could draw this right now. When you focus on the lack, you come off the line and you start heading up, and then it takes you off path. You're still over here and you're still on course. You're always on course, but you're headed up now instead of straight, which is going to take a lot shorter time. You start doing this curve, and once you get off path far enough, there's basically a perimeter, and that's when things get bad, seemingly bad, or so we call it bad. Okay. And again, it is working out for you, even if the worst thing could happen. The coronavirus is going on right now, happening for a reason. We are evolving as a consciousness, and it needs to happen. So you ain't even got to worry about any of that. That's kind of a side thought, but it's still on track. So we got this straight line, we go out, and as soon as we hit that mark, the universe is like, hell no, that's not where you're headed. Like, what are you doing? I thought you wanted that, not this. Whatever. And so it brings you back as long as you listen. A lot of us, right, we hit it and then we just kind of bounce, boom, 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 just testing that line because we don't pay attention. We're not aware enough to understand that the challenges is telling us that that negative emotion inside of you that says this fucking sucks is telling you that you're not on track. You're not on that line to the thing that you said you wanted. Emotions are a guidance mechanism. It tells us when we are not, when we are and when we're not tuned in and in alignment with that thing. So everything is always working out for you. When one thing doesn't work out, another door opens, right? You've heard that saying. And it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Had I stayed in resistance and trying to make the thing work when I first started my business, I would not be here today. I would probably have quit because it was the hardest thing I had done up until that point, and there was no way I was about to keep doing that. Thankfully, right? But just understand. Okay, and this is just kind of a recap. Challenges are a sign of life. Okay, as we go through life, things happen so that we can learn and we can get to that set point. Okay, number 2 was look at it as what you asked for. You set the goal. You said you wanted to go over there. It's not this. There's a gap. What do you got to do to get to that gap? What are the challenges in there? And understand you're on this line, and it's not going to be like this. You've seen the images, the memes, and stuff like that, where the life of an entrepreneur is over like this, and it kind of is, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily have to be. But it's what you asked for. So just be prepared. Ask for what you want and forget about what you don't want, because that's just always there. You can get an unlimited amount of that. So give your focus and attention and energy to the thing that you said you wanted. Okay, number 3, everything is always working out for you. When one door closes, another door opens. When one thing doesn't work out, you are being led to the thing that you do want. You're being led through knowledge and experience to the thing that you do want, because what it is doing is preparing you for the receivership of that thing. It's preparing you to be ready. If you asked for $1 million tomorrow and you hadn't made even $10,000 in a month, you would go blow it in probably shorter period of time than I can even say. Like I don't even know how long, right? Everyone's different, obviously, but for the most part, if you haven't made $1 million, you aren't ready for the $1 million. So, but you can get ready. That's the beauty of it. That's the challenges are what gets you ready. Then you're ready. Then you have it. So, everything is working out for you. Just keep pushing, keep moving forward, keep your focus on everything that brings enjoyment to your life, everything that, is fulfilling, everything that is sexy to you in your mind, not necessarily just a person, maybe, but you get what I'm saying, I think. And I hope you do. And if you don't, we'll try again next time. Okay. But don't forget to go to the Know Your Worth Facebook group. This is something I'm very passionate about. I hope you can tell. And I really want to make this my career. I love marketing, and I can do it for myself, and I can do it for other people, and I'm really good at it. But it doesn't bring me as much fulfillment as this does. Like, I could sit here and talk to you for an hour, couple hours. I could talk to you all day about this stuff. It never ends, and I'm always learning, and I know you are too. So I know that's why you're here. I know that's what you're seeking, is just more information, more knowledge, more awareness, and that's what this challenge brings. So I hope you have enjoyed today's podcast episode about on the 3 steps of overcoming challenges. If you did, make sure to leave a comment like this video or like this channel or podcast or however it works. And, make sure to share this with a friend. Share it with someone you think that is going to gain value from this. Maybe someone's going through a challenge right now. How can they look at that challenge just a little bit differently? Because that's all you got to do is change the perception, change the perspective, actually. Change the perspective and you can get a new result. So I hope I bring that to you guys. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope your lives are just full and abundant, full of love and joy and happiness and fulfillment. And there's people around you that support you. That's what I want. And I'm here to support you. I'm here to love you. I'm here to give you everything I got. So I hope you enjoyed. Love you. See you next time.